This is it. We're finally getting our hands on Gloomrot, the first major content update for V Rising. I have to start off saying this update looks beautiful. The art and audio departments knocked this one out of the park. It looks sick. We have, of course, a new zone, loads of new monsters, bosses, spells. It's a pretty long list, so I'm not going to get into it too much because I wanted to talk about something else in this video. PvP is by far my favorite part of the game. However, PvP has had its share of fair criticism. Some common complaints have been castle layering, golem balancing, servant armies, and a stale PvP meta with Chaos Folly. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Well, I'm happy to say that all these issues have been addressed in this content update. So in this video, we're going to go over the new territory system, castle strategies, and the new spell jewel system. Previously, each player in a clan would have access to a castle heart, which they could then place in a location and expand tile by tile. This system birthed various, in my opinion, frustrating strategies to castle defense. Layering castles gave a clan access to 4 servant armies, 4 banshee pits, and of course 4 independent siege timers. With the new multi-floored castles, I think it's safe to say that this problem would only get worse, a lot worse. The Gloomrot update will do away with the old system and replace it with the new territory system. Placing a castle heart will claim an entire buildable location, immediately removing the ability to place several castles in one location. Although the attacker will be racing against only one siege timer, they will have to clear more than just one floor, so that's kind of how it's going to balance. That brings us to the next topic, new castle strategies. Although it might sound like castle defense is about to become much more difficult, I can assure you there will still be extremely effective ways to protect your loot. One of which I like to call murder holes. Previously, if we wanted to guarantee the attacker would have to pass through a banshee pit or a servant room, it would have to be built on top or at the bottom of a staircase or ramp. Now with buildable staircases, you can actually create artificial choke points. So a clan could build their castle with an entrance at the front, obviously, and the only staircase to the second floor in the very back of the castle. So either before or after the staircase would be a kill room, so there's your first one. Then on the second floor, there'd be another staircase leading to the third floor, which would be placed all the way back above where the initial entrance is. So the attacker would have to clear an entire first floor to ascend to the second floor, and then they would have to do the same thing, clear the entire second floor to get to the third floor. So you just continue that to the max build height. Keeping your valuable loot on the top floor would make it extremely tedious for attackers to reach it, but it wouldn't be too annoying for the defender because we have teleporters now. So the defending clan could totally bypass the honeycomb. So it's not a hassle to navigate through. So you might be thinking, Regulus, this sounds ridiculous. How the hell am I supposed to siege a castle like that? It sounds horrible. Well, I'll give another tip for attackers. After a castle has been sieged and the siege timer is depleted, the defending clan has the opportunity to replace walls that have been destroyed. So after this has happened, the attacking clan, if they haven't already finished the attack, would need to completely destroy another wall to put the castle back into siege mode. Remember, the first wall has massive armor before it breaks, so it takes a super long time to knock down. At that point, it just becomes a race between the golem destroying the first wall and then the defenders destroying the golem. Well, there's a sneaky little strategy for attackers where after the first wall is broken, have one of your clanmates go to a random wall along the exterior of the castle and bring it to 1 HP. Then, if you need to put the castle back into siege mode, summon another golem and then bring it to that wall, hit it once, and then you've now destroyed the wall and put the castle back on a siege timer. Moving on to maybe the most exciting change in this update, the new spell jewels and debuff system. On top of getting an entire new spell tree, we're also getting vast changes to almost every other spell tree in the game, and the ability to actually customize our spells. These changes will open up many more possibilities for your builds. The new spell tree is called Storm Magic. This tree has a good mix of ranged AoE abilities, support abilities, and increased mobility tools. Storm's unique debuff is called Static. Hitting an enemy with a Storm spell will apply this unique debuff, which increases your physical damage dealt to them for 5 seconds, and triggering a shock upon hit for an additional 10% magic damage. I can see this tree working really well with the slashers and dual pistols because of the fast attack speed. Moving on to the blood tree, the new debuff associated with this tree is called Leech. For 5 seconds after Leech is applied, physical attacks restore health equal to 7% of damage against them. The old Purgatory spell from the Unholy tree has been moved to the blood tree and now applies this debuff. The Chaos tree will allow you to ignite enemies with Chaos Flames, dealing 50% magic damage over 5 seconds. This tree is still a great choice for players wanting a strong ranged DPS option. The Unholy tree will allow you to resurrect fallen enemies to fight for you with the new debuff, Condemn. Applying this debuff will increase their damage taken by 15% for 5 seconds, and summon an Unholy Warrior to fight for you whenever the target dies with the debuff on them. The Illusion Magic tree still has the Weaken debuff, which has been slightly nerfed to reduce damage output by 15% for 5 seconds. However, you do get a new passive called Phantasm. Phantasm works in a similar way to the old Scholar Blood buff that gave you a chance to reset your cooldowns. However, Phantasm will stack upon enemy death, giving you a higher and higher chance to reset your cooldown. The Frost tree has changed slightly. Stunlock Studios said that they are adding a type of diminishing returns to the game. This means CC effects will become less and less effective the more you apply them to an enemy, so you can't permanently keep someone CC'd. That's going to be a great change for PvP in my opinion. Anyways, hitting somebody with a Frost ability will apply Chill. Hitting somebody with a Frost ability while they are chilled will freeze them for 4 seconds. When hitting somebody with Chill who is immune to CC, whether it's a spell effect or they've hit the diminishing returns cap, they'll instead take 25% magic damage and apply Chill again. Also, Ice Block is a thing now. With the new spell jewel system, you will be able to socket your spells to have specific effects. For example, if you're using Shadow Bolt and want to have some more AoE in your build, socket it with Yearning Bauble, modifying the spell to inflict AoE damage and apply Leech to everyone hit by it. You will find jewels in the open world off of various monsters and V-Blood units. We're also getting legendary weapons, which will be attuned with one random spell tree debuff. I can see a world where people are choosing to double dip more often into one spell tree to always keep their valuable debuff on the target, and also multi-classing. Having maybe 2 spells from one tree and 2 from another to reliably benefit from more than one debuff. Perhaps you want a tanky bruiser build? Well, find a legendary weapon with the Leech affinity, and then use 2 spells of the Illusion tree for the Weaken debuff, and then 2 spells from the Shock tree for mobility. I think the addition of the Storm tree and the addition of the Greatsword will bring many more players to melee focused builds. We've seen this huge saturation of ranged builds with spells like Chaos Volley and Ice Bat. I think the Storm tree, along with all the new spells, will really help with mobility and really shake up the meta. These changes, combined with the overhaul to castles, will really expand the possibilities for players while offering some much needed balancing to the game. Well, I think that's about it. That's all I wanted to cover for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in Vardoran tomorrow. Also, subscribe so Dobby has more toys to destroy.